Are you a problem solver? Are you willing to tackle challenges and problems on a daily basis? If you are, then software engineering might be a good fit for you. Hi, my name is Vince, and in this video, I'm going to give you some tips and advice for you to get started with programming and to guide you in your software engineering journey. Have you ever wondered how the apps are built, like your favorite applications on your phone, the website you're using, Facebook, YouTube, or even the machine that you're using every day, as well as the electronics in your car? Also, have you ever wondered how they are built and who built them? Well, guess what? That's what we do. It's the job of programmers or software engineers to build those kind of things. If you haven't done any programming before, it might sound crazy to you, difficult, and might blows your mind, which I totally understand, and that makes you a normal being. If you're not aware, software engineering is one of the highest paying jobs in the market across the globe. It's because of the required skill sets and complexities to get the job done. So if you want to be like us who like solving problems and making great things that impact the lives of people and making that big move, then please continue watching this video because I will be giving some tips and advice to guide you in your software engineering journey. So I got many questions from different people asking stuff like, how do I start programming? Or where do I begin? Or how do I get started? So I've decided to make this video in order to express my opinion about the topic. And hopefully this will help guide you in your software engineering journey. I personally like using the guitar as an analogy to any of my programming examples. So let's use that analogy for you to better understand the idea and concepts that I'll be talking about in this video. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. So learning programming is just like learning how to play a guitar. But why? It's because you must have this thing called interest. Because without interest, you will just be wasting your time practicing things that you don't like. And that same goes for programming or software engineering. I'm emphasizing the word interest here, so make sure you have that. The next step that you would do is to choose what type of guitar that you want to use. It could be an acoustic one, an electric one, or a hybrid. So if we put that analogy in the context of programming, that means you need to learn the programming languages. For example, you can choose a programming language like C#, Java, Ruby, Python, JavaScript. Those are just a few of the programming languages that you can choose from, which are very popular nowadays. Another example is that choosing what kind of software engineering you want to pursue. For example, is it mobile application? Is it embedded systems? Is it web development? Is it machine learning? Is it AI? Is it mainframe development? Or maybe gaming? Or perhaps machine level programming? The point is you need to pick and choose which path you're going to take for you to become a successful software engineer. Now once you've chosen the programming language or the type of guitar that you want to use, then you can start learning the basic chords and figure out the strumming patterns. Which means that you need to learn and understand data structures, algorithms, and object-oriented programming, or OOP. And just so you know, software engineering or programming revolves around these concepts. So be sure to familiarize yourself with them. And the easiest way to do that is to refer to the official documentation of the framework or the language that you're using. You can also use like online courses, technical articles, or even video tutorials. And from there, you can muddle through the code and learn what you need to learn as you go. You would also need to know the syntax, the flow control, variables, classes, interfaces, data types, how to write methods and functions, and how to interact with databases. You need to understand the features of the framework. For example, if you are interested in web development, then you need to understand how the request and response works. For example, can you guess what will happen if you type in a URL in the browser? Does displaying the page in the browser is some kind of magic? Think about it. Learning how the framework works is very crucial in programming. For example, in the context of ASP.NET, or .NET, I interviewed a lot of experienced engineers, and they don't even know how the request and response works, and it's kind of sad. Now, once you're able to understand how the guitar works and how it produces sound based on each chord, then start playing a song without looking into the chord patterns. Based on my personal experience, the easiest way to learn programming is to create or develop a sample application on your own. Just think of an application that you want to build, for example, like a online shopping cart or just a simple page where you can add, modify, or delete information in the browser. Or if you are also interested in mobile development, we can also try creating just a simple form that accepts information and stores that in a database or something. You can also use a starter kit website or template where you can download and look at the code so that you're able to figure out how to connect the dots in the picture. The fifth tip is that once you're able to master the basic chords, then you need to progress yourself and continue learning the advanced chords. If we put that into programming, for example, web development, that means you need to learn CSS, basic HTML, JavaScript, client-side scripting, server-side scripting, databases, APIs, design and data architecture, and so on. Always remember that change is constant in technology industry, and that means we need to keep learning for us to be relevant in the market. The more you practice, that means the more you learn something, and the longer you play with your guitar, you might be able to compose your own songs that might make people happy or inspired. So in programming context, the more you gain experience, you might be able to create your own tool, framework, or library that any developers can benefit from it. Now, the next step that you would do is you should learn how to maintain your guitar and learn how to tune it so that you'll be able to retain the sound quality of the guitar and maintain its looks for many years to come. So in programming, that means you should learn how to use the debugging tools, how to maintain your code, how to test your code, and as well as fine-tune the performance of your application. And this is to make your application sustainable enough to run in a long period of time. Finally, play in gigs, participate in music events, and help teach others how to play the guitar. That means that you need to give back to the community. Participating in a technical community is really powerful. I remember when I got my first job, and then I was assigned to develop an application in which I don't have any experience. I was so scared that time because I'm not familiar with the framework, I don't know how it works, and it's just crazy. That's why I joined the technical community to seek for help. And from that moment on, I was able to understand the basic and grasp the concepts of programming. That's why I'm making this kind of content as well, because I want to give back to the community. And that is to help other developers grow to become better. I hope this video helps resolve some of the confusion about how do you start programming. I know it sounds a lot and scary, but trust me, once you're able to understand these concepts and able to understand how the dots comes into the picture, pretty sure you'll find software engineering fun and worth it. So whether you're an experienced developer and you wanted to enhance your skills more and become a better developer, or if you're a student who are seeking for guidance, or just new to programming and wanted to build an application from scratch without any experience, then please consider subscribing to my channel, because I'll be covering a series of tutorials about programming fundamentals in the context of .NET. I will also be covering tutorials related to .NET Core 5, which is the latest and fastest version of .NET to date. I will also be hosting a question and answer episodes on my channel, so if you have any programming questions in mind, feel free to let me know in the comments below.